What began as a routine congressional budget hearing quickly shifted into a display of pure rhetorical mastery when Representative Jasmine Crockett took on Speaker Mike Johnson in live TV view. Johnson attempted to corner Crockett with pointed budgetary critiques, insinuating misaligned fiscal priorities for her district's policy agenda. Unfazed, Crockett opened her response, methodically arming herself with data, records, and calm precision. She spoke clearly, challenged the premise with facts, and reframed the debate on the floor, while Johnson sat visibly taken aback. Within moments, it was clear she hadn't just defended herself. She dismantled his argument entirely, leaving viewers stunned and Johnson visibly speechless. Social media erupted almost instantly. Clips of her calm yet forceful responses flooded platforms like X and Instagram with hashtags like #Crockett came correct, #FaceSaidItAll, and #Respect Her Records. Trending globally, pundits praised her for refusing to raise her voice or resort to theatrics, while media commentators highlighted how gracefully she turned the floor into her platform. Even critics of her politics acknowledged that she handled the moment with undeniable composure and effectiveness. Behind the scenes, legal and political insiders took notice. Crockett's preparedness and clarity prompted comparisons to classic examples of courtroom poise. Analysts said Johnson's approach had backfired. Each question meant to unsettle her only underscored his own vulnerability. The spectacle didn't belong to him. It became her showcase. Educational programs on public speaking and media literacy began incorporating the clip as a prime example of maintaining control under pressure. In the aftermath, Jasmine Crockett received numerous invitations to news panels, legal forums, and leadership seminars to speak about accountability, transparency, and navigating high-stakes discourse. Mike Johnson, typically confident in public exchanges, offered no televised rebuttal. Sources later revealed that he privately acknowledged Airbnb style, that she had reminded him what knowledgeable discourse looks like. Meanwhile, Crockett remained poised but quiet, letting her performance in that moment define the narrative. In the days that followed, headlines praised Crockett's performance not just as a personal triumph, but as a symbolic moment in contemporary politics where preparation, clarity, and calm dismantled condescension and political theater. Her ability to expose logical fallacies without sounding combative reminded viewers that strength in discourse doesn't require shouting, it requires substance. Across cable networks, clips of the exchange continued to play, and political observers began calling it a turning point for Crockett's national visibility. Even those previously unfamiliar with her found themselves quoting her sharp lines and admiring her ability to navigate a tense political showdown with intelligence, integrity, and unapologetic resolve. Meanwhile, Representative Mike Johnson attempted to downplay the exchange in interviews that followed, framing it as a misunderstanding or spirited debate, but the damage had already been done. His evasive answers during the hearing contrasted too starkly with Crockett's composed and fact-driven approach. Online commentators pointed out how visibly shaken he appeared after her rebuttals, and memes flooded social media platforms within hours, turning the moment into viral political folklore. Crockett, on the other hand, didn't bask in the moment. Instead, she used the spotlight to reiterate her message about accountability, transparency, and the importance of informed leaderships, cementing her role as a rising force not just in Congress, but in the broader political landscape. As the buzz intensified, Crockett's office was inundated with messages of support from across the country. Emails, calls, and social media posts lauding her for standing firm in the face of deflection and political theater. Political analysts noted that her performance marked a shift in tone for congressional discourse, where younger, more assertive leaders like her were no longer willing to play by outdated rules of deference. Even longtime commentators admitted they hadn't seen such a poised dismantling of a senior politician's argument in recent memory. Crockett's unwavering resolve and ability to turn the confrontation into a teachable moment demonstrated not just rhetorical skill, but a readiness to lead on a larger stage. **** In in the days that followed. Media outlets replayed the now iconic exchange on a loop, dissecting every word, every expression, and every subtle shift in tone. Late-night hosts and political commentators alike praised Crockett's eloquence and control, contrasting it sharply with Johnson's visibly rattled demeanor. What resonated most with viewers was her ability to combine factual clarity with emotional intelligence. She didn't just win the argument, she connected with the public. While some critics attempted to downplay the moment as theatrics, the broader consensus was clear. Jasmine Crockett had arrived not just as a compelling voice in Congress, but as a leader who could hold power to account, live, and unflinchingly. In front of the entire nation, asterisk, as political momentum gathered behind her. Crockett used the viral moment to pivot toward policy advocacy, reinforcing that her outburst wasn't just about political showmanship, was rooted in deep frustration with systemic deflection and partisan games. She began appearing on various networks, not only to recount the confrontation but to redirect attention toward legislative issues that had long been ignored. Her rise became symbolic of a new era where clarity, passion, and fearless accountability were no longer optional, but demanded. For many young Americans, especially women of color, Crockett became a powerful representation of what it looked like to speak truth to power without flinching. Even when the spotlight burned brightest, asterisk in the aftermath, Mike Johnson maintained a low profile, issuing a brief statement that attempted to reframe the incident as a spirited debate rather than the lopsided exchange it had clearly been. Crockett, on the other hand, doubled down, using her newfound platform not for personal gain, but to amplify marginalized voices and expose institutional hypocrisy. The confrontation marked more than just a viral moment. It signaled a cultural shift in political discourse. Crockett didn't just dismantle Johnson's argument, she reminded the nation that accountability, when delivered with poise and truth, can shake even the most insulated halls of power. Asterisk as the dust settled. Political analysts, media commentators, and everyday viewers continued dissecting the fiery exchange, framing it as a reflection of the broader cultural and ideological divide in the country. Crockett's precise rebuttals and unwavering composure under pressure became case studies in political communication, heralded by educators and activists alike. Meanwhile, online platforms were flooded with clips of the moment, remixed with commentary, memes, and reaction videos that further elevated her status. Far from being a fleeting viral sensation, the confrontation with Mike Johnson had transformed Jasmine Crockett into a formidable force in American politics, one who had not only stood her ground, but redefined what it meant to lead unapologetically in today's divided landscape. Asterisk behind the scenes, the impact was equally profound. Crockett's staff reported an unprecedented surge in support from donations to volunteer Synapse's constituents and new admirers alike sought to rally behind her message. Civil rights organizations reached out to collaborate, recognizing in her a rare blend of legal rigor and relatable authenticity. Even veteran lawmakers privately acknowledged the weight of what had transpired, with whispers in Capitol corridors pointing to Crockett as a rising star with the potential to reshape the Democratic Party's image. What began as a televised clash evolved into a pivotal moment of transformation, one that placed Jasmine Crockett, not just in the spotlight, firmly on the path of national leadership. Asterisk.